Hi, welcome. My name is Dawn, and it is Monday, January 26th, 2026. There, say that fast. But how is everybody doing out there? I know that so much of the country is under snow and ice and cold. And here in the Florida Panhandle, it is very cold. You can hear the wind. It'll pick up, and you'll probably even hear it while I'm speaking. The wind chimes are blowing, and the wind gets really loud. So I think I like it because I like to be cozy. I used to like it when I was younger, especially a young mother, when the cold weather came and it's like the world stops. When there's a blizzard, when we lived in Illinois, the whole world stops, you know. You don't have to worry about anything because the schools are closed, and sometimes even husbands can get off work early, and it's just a nice time. But anyway, I'm praying for all the people because it's not fun for everybody, and I realize that. I worry about the people that are homeless, people that don't have heat and don't have the necessities to get through this. I'm especially praying for the people in Minnesota that are protesting, the ICE Nazis that are killing people and rounding up people and innocent children. You know, one of the things I wanted to talk about is that I've heard some therapists and psychologists talking, and they were saying that we're at a point in our country where I'm 65 years old. So I remember the old days, and I'll be the first one to admit that the old days weren't always good. It's not true. Everybody and every time has struggles. I mean, Jesus, our Savior himself, was born into a time full of struggle and danger and political upheaval. But that we need to realize that many of us are going through a time where we are mourning what will never happen again, our past. We've lived long enough that we've lost many loved ones. I've lost, of course, my mother and father, grandparents, my son, friends. Those people will never be back again. So the world is always going to be changed for us. And that we're also mourning a future for my grandchildren, that they'll never know my country when it was better. And it was better. There were times that, you know, our own government had not declared war on people that are here, human beings. You know, we must always remember that when we attach adjectives to people other than child of God, made in the image and likeness of God, because everybody was, then we lose sight of the fact that they are all human beings. We are all human beings. We have all sinned and fall short of the glory of God. And then to bring it in a little bit more, personally in this house, we're going through some times. You know, I told you before that my son died, my firstborn son. I had 6 children, died last April. So we're all going through that. Then this upheaval in our government, and the ones that live with me here, we are not handling it well. You know, it's upsetting to see what's going on. And then one of the places where both of my younger sons worked closed down, and due to that, they are looking for work. And let's be real, the job market is just not there. You know, it's hard for people to find work at this time. And so that's on our plate. And then I hear a lot of people, so many people, everybody has their own story. We all have a story. And I think that's what's good about YouTube, because we can say, hey, this is what I'm going through. And sometimes people can relate to it. And sometimes people can maybe get an idea. We can get an idea. I mean, I love listening to people. I get all sorts of ideas. You're never too old to learn, you know, learning all the time. And so that's, you know, it's one of the things. I know that there's somebody, Marsha, if you listen to this, and she's somebody I consider a friend. She lives out in Kansas, and I know she's going through it too. It makes me sad. I wish I could give her a hug, but she's got her head screwed on straight, and she knows that Jesus is the way, the light, and the truth, and He's going to be the one to get us through all of these things that we're going through. And so that's all I wanted to say. Here's hoping. I'm hoping things get better. You know, one of the things I told my son this morning is that he's sitting over here. So I always talk. I'm a jabberjaw. In real life, I never shut up. But talking to a camera, that's a little bit different. But one of the things I said is we have to remember that God put us in time right where we are. He knows what he wants us to do. We just have to ask him to help us find our voice, find our way that will eventually lead us home to heaven to be with him for all eternity. So maybe we don't. Maybe you're happy with the way things are going, and that's okay. Good for you. Politics are meant to cause debate. But, and if you're not, and you're wondering, what the heck, how did I live this long? Know that God put us right in time when we were born, and he has a special role for all of us. And just ask him which way to go and trust in him. So I hope you're all staying warm. I'm praying for everybody. I wish I was wealthy. I wish I had billions. I'd help so many people with it. But have a good day, and I love you all. Bye-bye.